Morning. So you and I had kind of started talking about doing these notes things that we'd send daily, or I'd send daily. But don't get me wrong, I started doing them, but I realized halfway through that my handwriting is totally illegible and I had spelled half the things wrong, so it got me to thinking, why don't I just read it off? Because I am clearly the only person that is going to be able to understand any of this. My first thought was, no, I look like a complete mess. But then I realized that maybe the stuff that I had written down was a little bit more important than how I looked this morning. So, without further ado, let's talk about love. I looked up a lot of verses on love, even though I had a few written down already, so I'm just going to go ahead and start reading these off. There's Mark 12:31, and it says, "Love your neighbor as yourself. There's no commandment greater." 1 Corinthians 13:4-8 says, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It's not proud, it does not dishonor others, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails." 1 Corinthians 13:13 says, "And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." Ephesians 4:2 says, "Be humble and gentle, be patient, bearing one another in love." 1 Peter 4:8 says, "Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins." So, this is what I had to say on it, I guess. Love is an awfully funny thing. We say it more than we should, but then again, never enough. It's a cheesy novel genre that teenage girls read about in a Hallmark movie plot. You'll hear it in nearly every song anymore and close to every movie. We're clearly called to love, but what is love? Me being the smarty I am decided to Google it. Google defines love as an intense feeling of deep affection, or to feel a deep romantic or sexual attachment to someone. So there you have it. That's how the world defines love. It's sex and attachment. I think it's more, though. I mean, it has to be if the Bible says it 300 to 500 times, depending on your version. So once again, I ask, what's love? We love our grandma, but we love our morning coffee. We love our best friend, and we love the movie If I Stay. I'm not sure what exactly to make of it. So here's what I have to think and kind of a stupid story to go along with it. Love is forgetting about yourself when you're ordering lunch. It's knowing you have one bagel left, but offering it to your sister anyways. Love is driving half an hour out of the way just to pick someone up. It's those late night calls where you can barely keep your eyes open, but you know that other person needs you there. It's taking the blame for staying out too late and making yourself look like a complete idiot just to make someone smile. Love is intentional, and love is sacrificial. The Bible talks about how there's no greater love than laying down your life for a friend, and that's John 15:13. For some reason, I always thought that meant death, and for Jesus it was. But my new hermeneutic, after much questioning and much discussion, is that I don't need to die to be laying down my life for my friends. I just need to be giving up living my life for me. And here's my stupid story to go along with it. When I was in 8th grade, I had the classic middle school crush affair. He was my best friend, and we were so young. There was about to be 1.5 million miles between us. Of course, it was all so incredibly stupid, but I told my dad I was in love. And he replied with a simple, "Nope." 13-year-old Dylan wasn't too fond of people telling her how to feel, though, so hoping to get a fight out of my dad, I said, "You wouldn't know." And being my wise old dad, he said this: "I've had a cold before, right? If you and him both have a cold, and you have one dose of medicine, would you let him take it?" I gave it some thought, and I wasn't quite sure. I thought I needed my vocal cords far more than he needed his. But I really wanted to make my dad wrong, so I said, "I guess I'd let him take it." To which he replied, "You guess? You'd let him?" Love isn't about guessing, and it's sure not about letting. It's about wanting him to take it. It's about forcing him to take it because you care about his well-being more than your own. That was the day I learned that I wasn't in love. In fact, I wasn't sure I'd ever loved anyone. And so that was the day that I got on my knees and I prayed and I asked God to help me make my life look a little bit more like love. Love isn't easy, and I think you already know that. Love is something that we have to decide to do every day, and it is hard. It is hard to wake up in the morning and choose to love your siblings. It's hard to wake up in the morning and choose to love your life. It's hard when you're going through such a tough time to sacrifice for other people. But I'm praying that your life looks a little bit more like love. And I hope you know that I do truly and deeply love you. Well, I hope this helps you throughout your week, and I'll be praying for you for sure. Bye, Co.